Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all doing really well. As always, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my full song breakdowns and guitar lessons. Today we're looking at Dignity by Bullet for My Valentine. I've already done the cover for this one, so I think it's the last video that I did on the channel. So if you want to see the full song played up to speed, it's the last video I did, so just go on my channel and it'll be there for you. So before we get into it, I'll give you a little bit of a background on the song. There's not really a whole lot to tell other than it's from the 2010 album Fever, which is my favorite Bullet record actually. And it's a little bit of an underrated track that kind of, it's sort of like hidden at the back end of the album, and because that album's such like a single heavy album, I think it kind of gets overshadowed and overlooked because, you know, you've got Your Betrayal on there, The Last Fight, Bittersweet Sweet Memories as well. You've got all these strong songs that are sort of at the front end of the record, and usually a lot of the times the sort of deeper cuts at the back end, they seem to get forgotten about, especially when they don't get played live a whole lot. This song to me is also one of the last ones that they did in terms of like the traditional Bullet for My Valentine formula, if you like, the Poison sort of style formula. Stuff like the key that it's written in, it's very much like a suffocating under words of sorrow or tears don't fall kind of thing. So yeah, to me, just the way the riffs are, the song structure, just the overall sound of it, to me, it's kind of like the last song they did in this sort of style before they moved on to do other things. Just in terms of my source material, what I've used to work this song out, so I can get it as accurate as possible for you guys. There's 2 live shows on YouTube, okay? This song hasn't really seen the light of day a whole lot, so you know, you won't get much like pro shot footage of them playing this song. There's one show on there, I think it was a surprise show they did just before the album dropped back in 2010, 2011. But it's really dark and the quality is really ropey, so it was quite difficult to work out what was going on. There's also another performance of it. I think it was in Brazil or something like that. I'll leave a link down below for you guys. And you could sort of see what Matt was doing on the guitar there, so that helped me out as well. Another thing that I used is this little app that I've got on my phone. It's really good. You can sort of import the track in and pull the you know, certain instruments back in it. It's not perfect. It doesn't completely mute all the other instruments, but it certainly makes like things like guitars and vocals or whatever it is you're trying to work out a lot more audible. So I've used that as well to really try and hear what's going on and just, like I said, get everything nice and accurate for you guys. So I'm sticking to the traditional fashion that I do these lesson videos. We're going to take the song section by section. We're going to cover each guitar left and right on the rhythm tracks, and then we're going to do the guitar solo at the end. I also give you a quick rundown of the gear that I'm using. I've got my BC Rich Matt Tuck signature. That's running into the Kemper Powerhead. I'm using Colin Richardson STL tones. That's running into the Scarlett Focusrite, and that's running straight into my DAW, which is Cubase. So I'll run you through the tuning real quick now as well. It's standard Bullet for My Valentine tuning, no surprises here. It's drop C tuning, so you've got a D standard guitar with the low string tuned down to a C. So you've got a low to high, C, G, C, F, A, D. Okay? C, G, C, F, A, D. The song is in the key of G minor, and that puts us in the relative key of B flat major. And yeah, I think that's it for the preface of this video. So let's get right into it. So I've split the intro into 2 sections here, okay? The song is quite repetitive. It's going to be a bit of an easier lesson, this one. There's not a whole lot of difficult parts in it, but there's some really cool sections, which is kind of what made me want to do the cover and the lesson as well, because I think there's just some really cool sections in it. So the intro is split into 2 sections. You've got intro part 1 and intro part 2. I'll play intro part 1 for you now. We're going to start with the left guitar, okay? This is going to be doing sort of the lower riff. It's kind of traditional Bullet for My Valentine format where you've got 2 guitars left and right. One's doing sort of like the lower main riff, and then the one over on the right, you've got a higher harmony guitar on top of that, which sort of makes for the traditional Bullet for My Valentine metalcore sort of sound. So here's the first riff from intro part 1. Okay, so it's just that riff being played twice. So it's all going to be sort of your traditional sort of pedal point riff. We're pedaling off of the open 5th string, okay? Very sort of Tears Don't Fall, Suffocating Under Words of Sorrow kind of song this. Same key, same sort of shapes that we're going to be playing. So in terms of frets that one's covering, we're going to be all on the 4th string for our accented notes, okay? So you're going to have frets 7, 9, 10, and 12. Okay, so we're starting off with the 10, and then we're going to be going up to the 12. Okay, and there's lots of, so try and watch out for all sort of the pedal points, because we're constantly going back to that open fifth string on this one. Okay, so you've got, okay, so that's the first part, and then you're going to be going back to 10 and then down to 9. Okay, so you've got, that's your first part. Okay, now on my cover, for some reason, I picked every single note in this one. But upon further investigation, I think there's some hammer-ons and some slides going on there, because the next part is quite smooth and it's not quite as staccato as it would be with every note picked, okay? And what I've got it down as is this. Okay, so you've got... Now, I picked every note on my cover. I mean, you can do either, but I think what Bullet are doing to keep it a little bit more smoother is they're doing hammer-ons and slides right there. So you've got your 2 palm mutes on the fifth string, and you've got 9, hammer to 10, pick 9, and then slide down to 7. Okay. Okay, so that's your first part. Okay. Then it sort of starts itself again exactly the same way. Okay. With your 10 to 12. Okay. And then you've got, which is so Bullet, it's unreal, very traditional Bullet. So what are the notes there? You're going to be coming onto the fifth string, and you're going to be doing fret 8, okay? Then with your middle finger, I come on to 9, on the next string down, the fourth string, and then 10 with the third finger. So you've got... And then the next one, I bring my middle finger up onto 10 on the fifth string, and it's the same notes underneath, 9 to 10. Okay, so you've got... Okay, so the back end of that riff, I guess, would be... And I am putting one little palm mute in the middle there between the 10s and the 12s, and then the sort of tail end of it. Right there. The devil's in the detail with this one, I guess, because those little little palm mutes, those little pedal points in between that you're doing with your down pick, if you miss one of those, it's just going to throw the whole riff out. So it's really important to get them all in there just to keep it consistent and fluent. Okay. Another thing I will say about this one is I am down picking every single note. You could. That screws in my head doing the accents as a nut pick, but if you're going to be more of a Ben Bruce type guitar player, who sort of like, he sort of does his pedal points on a down pick, and then he does his accented notes with an up pick. You know, if you're that kind of guitar player, I mean, please feel free, go for it. But for me, I prefer the sound of it down picked. I've always been a stronger down picker than I have been an alternate picker. Okay, it's just the way I do things, and I'm guessing that Matt Tuck probably down picks this one because he's a bit of a down picking monster. So yeah, that's part and parcel of why the riff sounds quite tight. It's because of a lot of the down picks. Okay, so I'll put the whole thing together for you now. So far, you've got. Okay, so that's your guitar on the left, and that's the lower guitar part, okay? So you're just going to cycle through that riff twice. Intro part 2 is pretty much the same thing, but that's when the song sort of kicks into full swing, so we'll deal with that when we get there. What we'll do now is we'll move on to the right guitar, okay, which is sort of the higher harmony guitar, if you like, that's going to be playing over it. You can do this a couple of ways, okay? The way I saw them doing it in the concerts is Padge does this sort of string skipping kind of thing. But if you don't like string skipping like me, you could... That's how I did it when I tracked my cover. You know, I just didn't want the any unnecessary energy having to skip over a string to get to the next note. I just found it was a lot tighter. I'll show you the way I think Bullet are doing it, and then I'll show you what I did. Okay, so... Okay, so that is the same thing again. You're pedaling off of the open 5th string, okay? And you're on the 3rd string this time, okay? And you're going to be doing 9 to 10, same rhythm. And then you're going to be doing 9 to 7. Okay? Exactly the same rhythm, okay? And then what you've got is it's the same idea, just on different frets. You're going to be doing 7, hammer to 9, pick 7, and slide back to 5. Okay, so the first part. Okay, the next part, the second part of the riff, if you like, it pretty much starts the same way, just like with the lower riff, okay? So you've got your 9 and 10, and then you've got your tail. Okay, so what that is, 4th string, 7th fret, and I sort of bar my first finger across, okay? And don't be afraid to slide into these, you know. If you listen to the riff, Matt Tuck isn't playing this really rigid. He's putting lots of vibrato on his notes and stuff. It's not like a boring, stiff metalcore riff. He's actually shaking the hell out of some of his notes on this one, so it really makes it sort of pop and come to life a bit more. So you're barring your first finger across, 7th fret, middle 2 strings, and then 3rd finger, you're going to be doing 9 on the 3rd string, and then similar sort of idea, you're going to have 9 on the 4th string, and then the same thing on the 3rd string. Okay, so 9, 7, 9 on the 3rd string. Okay, so all together, that's the tail end of that riff, okay? All together. And you play it through twice. Okay, so that is your guitar on the right for intro part 1. If you want to play it on the higher frets, just do exactly the same pattern, but you're going to be up here instead to avoid the string skipping. The frets you've got there, 10, 12, 14, 15, so you're starting 14 and 15, down to 12, and then you're doing your 12, hammer 14, pick 12, and then slide to 10. So it's exactly the same thing, you're just moving the pattern up onto the lower string, okay? And it starts again, and then you've got your... which harmonizes perfectly with... which is what the other guitar's doing. And again, it's for that part, I'm just barring my first finger flat on 12 on the 5th and 4th string. So 12, 12, 14, and then 14, 5th string, back to the 4th string, 12, 14. So it's exactly the same pattern. I don't really need to explain that one too much, okay? But that is your intro part 1. I'll play the right guitar sort of all together for that section, then we'll move on to section 2, which is pretty much the same thing, but here we go. Okay, so that is your right guitar, which is doing the higher riff right there, the higher harmony riff if you like, and that is your intro part 1. Intro part 2 is exactly the same thing, but for the sake of being thorough, you just end each riff with 2 sort of A position chords down the bottom there. Okay, so you're going to play each guitar exactly how you did for your intro part 1. Okay, so I guess what I'll do is I'll just run you through both guitars, but just bear in mind you play the riff through twice and then end with this. Just 2 jabs on the A chord, your A power chord down the bottom. So intro part 2, guitar left. Okay, guitar right, same sort of thing, just end it with 2 jabs at the end. So moving on into verse number 1 now. The left guitar is sort of taking the reins on this one. The right guitar sort of drops for a bit. So we'll do the left one first, of course. And it's just going to be these lower chugs. And if you've learned Tears Don't Fall from my earlier, I think it was like the first lesson video I did. It was either that or Her Voice Resides. I can't remember. But if you know Tears Don't Fall, or even you've just learnt it yourself, it's very similar. It's the same sort of chords, okay? Or even Suffocating Under Words of Sorrow. They're all in the same key. So I'll play it through for you, and then we'll break it down. Okay, very, very self-explanatory there. The only thing you're going to want to watch out for with that one is there's tiny little gallops in there that will really catch you out. They certainly caught me out. It is so tight, like, you know, there's a lot of pressure on it as it is. Trying to downpick at that speed and keep it consistent. Downpicking isn't the problem, but it's keeping it in time. It's quite tricky because there's no drum beat there. I don't think it's just guitar and vocals. Okay, so trying to keep that consistent with no da 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 da, or you know, beat a metronome, or you know, a drum sort of cymbal count to keep you in time. It is quite difficult. Okay, so throwing a little gallop in there as well. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I've always struggled with galloping and stuff like that. But yeah, just keep this one slow and build up to it. That's exactly what I've had to do. And you got to bear in mind, I may have been listening to these songs since 2010, but I sure as hell haven't been playing like this since 2010, okay? It's only the last couple of years, even though I've been playing guitar quite religiously for many years now. Like, it's only these last couple of years since I've been doing my channel, I've been pushing myself to get hopefully decent at metal guitar and pull these songs off. So it's going to start off with your A power chord that we sort of ended on for the intro part 2. Okay, but we're going to be just palm muting it. And with this one, I find that a big boomy palm mute doesn't work for this. It's a little bit too present. You might want to make it a bit scratchier by bringing your palm forward a little bit. Within reason. You don't want to kill it, you know, because the pitch is going to go up. But try not to get that big, you know, like as if you're doing like that sort of thing. Just try and control it. Don't let it boom too much, okay? So just keep it in groups of 4 as far as the mental organization goes. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then you're going to move on to the next one, which is your 3rd fret power chord, 6th string, 6th and 5th. And that's where he does. And he moves up to the 5th fret, okay? And that's where your gallop is. Da da dun dun, okay? And then you're gonna do your palm mutes there. And then you got a little gallop to get you down into 2nd fret, okay? So the frets. Okay, very, very simple. No explanation needed there. So all together. Okay, then he repeats it. And that's it. That's verse number 1. Make sure you're happy with that because that's exactly the same thing that's going to be happening over in verse number 2. Okay, so very straightforward on the neck. Okay, but as far as the picking goes, it is quite tight. And it is hard to get that consistent without a drum beat there, keeping you in time because it is just vocals, like I said. So, yeah, just put some time into getting your down picking consistent, okay? And watch out for the little... little lot picks in there, okay? So that's your guitar left for verse number 1. Guitar on the right joins in halfway through. And I will preface this by saying Matt does something completely different live to what I think he's doing on the record, just in terms of the first chord that he's playing, okay? I'll play it through for you and then I'll show you what's going on. Okay, so it's these little dyad ideas. So what's a dyad? Well, the triad is 3 notes. Dyad, it's 2, okay? And I believe he starts on this one. Live, he starts here at 7 and 10 and 9. This part is very similar to what he does in Tears Don't Fall in the intro part. It's the same sort of shapes and patterns. But the first one he does, I believe, is here. Because when I isolated that guitar, I heard these notes and not these ones to start with. But the problem is this higher one has that note there, which pops up in this first one. See what I'm saying? But I'm not hearing that note, okay? Which makes me think it's this one, okay? So this is what I think is going on the record, okay? So we're starting off with this dyad shape. You've got 7 and 5. Sort of looks like an upside down power chord. Just invert your fingers, okay? And you're going to have the same picking pattern. Then he moves all the way up to 12 and 10. So 3rd finger 12, 1st finger 10. And I don't believe he puts the gallop in on this one. Like, he just keeps it straight. Correct me if I'm wrong on there, but I think he just keeps it straight for this one. Then he moves down to the next one. He shortens the shape now because it's major 3rd. He's going to do middle finger 10, 1st finger 9. And that last one there is the longer shape. So you've got 9 and 7, 3rd finger 9, 1st finger 7. Okay, so that last one, start opening it up right at the end. You'll see that he starts coming off the palm mute. Just slowly start taking your palm off the bridge, okay? So all together, you've got your 5s and 7s. Up to your 10s and 12s. And then your shorter one, which is your 9 and 10. And finishing off on 9 and 7. Okay, so it's going to be easier for me to just play it and you guys work it out by ear, okay? So... And that last one, watch out for that sort of extra note. He sort of does the first of the next bar on this chord before he takes it into the next chord. So it's okay. That is your verse number 1, guitars left and right. Make sure you're happy with that because verse number 2 is pretty much the same thing. Okay. So next we'll move on over into pre-chorus number 1. Okay, which is probably one of my my favorite Bullet for My Valentine riffs right here. It's got this kind of Motley Crue kind of 80s hair metal vibe going on with it, which I really dig. Guitars left and right are doing exactly the same thing here, I believe, so you don't have to worry about any splitting off. And I'll play it through for you, and then I'll break it down. Okay, so it's basically the same thing twice, all right? And it's all going to be based off of the open sort of A chord that we've been pedaling off quite a bit in this song. So, and that's the rhythm. Again, it's a great one for down picking. So it leads in this way. Okay. Lots of accents in there. And then he does this, which is very cool. And be sure to shake the holy hell out of those. Okay. You could do it with your third finger flat, but I find you get bit more of a shake out of doing it with the two fingers. You've got double sevens right there on the middle two strings, and then double fives on the same two strings. So it's your smoke on the water kind of thing going on, just on different frets. So you've got, and I'm putting a little palm mute in the middle there. Okay, then who wouldn't like that, right? Very, very Motley Crue kind of thing going on there. Or pick your band, Whitesnake, Def Leppard, all that sort of thing, right? So that chord is just another dyad. So fourth string, middle finger, third string with your first finger, and then put your third finger on to 5. So you've got 2 5s at the end of it. Just love that. So you've got, don't know, there's just got such an attitude to it, which I think is what they were going for with this song, you know. On the track by track, when they put Fever out, I think Matt said in the track by track interview, Matt said that they wanted to do like a kind of a middle finger sort of song or an attitude song. So yeah, so the riffs have certainly got that attitude that you wanted to portray, I think. So we'll put those two sections together now. So you've got then what you've got is the Tears Don't Fall chord, or the Hearts Burst Into Fire chord. You should all know this one by now, which is your first finger barring right the way across, 3rd fret. Your third finger is going to be on 3rd string, 5th fret, and your pinky is going to start on 6th fret, 2nd string, okay? And I think he kind of splits this. I find I get this part a little bit more clean if I don't strum across the entire chord right the way through it. So I kind of, even though my fingers are there for the first part, I'm only strumming the bottom end of the power chord, if you like. So I go, and then I've got, okay? And that is literally just playing around with the pinky. So you've got, so pinky in 6th, bring the pinky into 5, and then pinky off. Your first finger should be barred enough, so this fret here, or this note on the 3rd fret on 2nd string is popping out. So you got, okay? So you got, okay? So that's your first part. Then you've got, so it's pinky. Okay, so I guess it's going to be 5, 6, 5, and then off. Okay, and bar where your first finger is. So you got, okay, so that's the second half. So all together. And if you're paying attention there, that actually matches the vocal line. We can't, we won't surrender thing, right? Okay, so we won't surrender. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's really clever how it sort of like follows the vocal line there. But that's it. So okay. Feel free to strum across the whole thing if you want. But I find having all those low notes in there just muddies it up, so I split it. And I'm only strumming from the 4th string down for the little tail part. Okay. Okay, after that, it comes over onto the 5th fret, 6th string, and 6th and 5th power chord. Okay, so you've got, okay, ending with an accent there. So make that last one pop, and then 2 octave chords. Okay. Now, if you've watched my earlier lesson videos, you'll know how to do octaves now. Okay, so you know what is an octave? Well, it's 2 notes the same, but they're 12 notes apart. Okay, so you got this note right here, which is your 1st finger, 8th fret. You're going to skip a string, pinky or 3rd finger, entirely up to you. Whichever way you prefer to do octaves. I like to, you know, use as much of my fingers as possible to shut the rest of the strings up, because I don't want them creeping in there, and I want my fingers as flat as possible, and I only want those 2 notes ringing out. Okay, so your pinky's coming down onto the 3rd string, 10th fret. Okay, the middle string, silent. Okay, you're not fretting that. It's an octave chord. Okay, you should be able to mute that middle string with your 1st finger and strum right the way across it. Notice how my middle 2 fingers are up on the 6th string here, killing that one off. And notice how flat my pinky is, killing the 2nd and 1st string. Okay, so the only 2 notes there. I'm strumming right across all 6 strings there. The only 2 things that are coming out is 8 on the 5th and 10 on the 3rd. Okay, so you take that shape and then you take it down to 3 and 5. Okay. Okay, just like that. And that's your riff. Okay, so once you put all that together, you play it twice. So I'll do that for you now. And that is your pre-chorus, pre-chorus number 1. That is pre-chorus number 2 as well. I think that's the only 2 times that riff pops up, but goddamn, what a really cool riff right there. And again, massively underrated, buried away at the back end of the album that, you know, is overshadowed by the singles and stuff like that. I think it's a shame because this song has just got some really cool moments like that one there. So there's your pre-chorus number 1, guitars left and right. Chorus number 1, it's just power chords. It's very, very simple. You've got guitar left and right doing exactly the same thing on the rhythms, and there's an octave lead over the top, which I'll take you through after the rhythms. So I'll play it through for you first, and I'll show you what's going on. It's basically the only frets you're going to need are 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so you've got And then back into your riff, okay? That should need no explanation, okay? It's so simple. You're starting off with the 3, and rather than a 1 and E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, rather than like that sort of a rhythm, I'm going for a, okay? A little bit like in the thing they do in Alone during the chorus or the pre-chorus, whatever it is in Alone. It's the same sort of rhythm, okay? And then he takes it up to 7, then to 5, and then on that last run of the 5, okay, he chokes it, okay? Palm mutes it, so you've got... It's just the same rhythm, but you're going to palm mute it, okay? Back down to 3. Up to 5. And then start choking it. Okay? And that's it. Very, very straightforward. As far as the octave lead goes over the top of it, because that is guitar left and right, like I said, so there's no other rhythm guitar to worry about there. The octave lead over the top goes something like this. Very, very simple stuff. So you're starting off with an 8 and 10. It's the same sort of rhythm. Da na 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 na. Okay. And then you're going to take it down 1 fret each, so you'll have 9 and 7. And then you're going to go back to 8 and 10. And then take it down to 3 and 5. Okay, so that is... Okay, so that's the front end of it, and then the second time there's a variation. It goes... Move it up to 10 and 12. Take it back to where you started, 10 and 8. And that's how it finishes. Over on 7 and 9. Okay, so it's very, very self-explanatory, this. It's not difficult guitar playing at all. It's going to be way more complicated than it needs to be if I go into it any further, okay? Just follow me, go where I go, and watch your technique. Keep your technique the same as mine. It's very simple. I'll play it again for you. Okay, so that's your chorus number 1 right there. Make sure you're happy with that, because we're pretty much going to be doing the same thing when it comes to the other choruses later on. Moving on into post-chorus number 1, it's exactly the same as intro part 2. No explanation needed there. It's just the main riff played 2 times, okay, with your 2 accents on the end on or 2 jabs on the end on your A chords. So for argument's sake, if I play the lower guitar, okay, so that is your post-chorus number 1. Like I said, the song is not too difficult. You know, the sections, they pop up. It's very copy and paste. So, you know, once you learn one section correctly, that's going to do you for the next couple of times it pops up or whatever. So we're going to move on over into verse number 2. And like I just said, it's exactly the same thing as verse number 1, but for this, the guitar that's over on the right, the higher one, is going to be playing the same thing right the way through this time, rather than coming in for the second time that the verse is being played. So for argument's sake, I'll play it through for you now. So this is your guitar on the right, your higher one with the dyads. Okay, so yeah, no explanation there needed. It's just play the same thing twice. The guitar on the left is doing exactly the same thing as it was doing earlier. Moving on into pre-chorus number 2, it's exactly the same thing. As much as I want to play it again because it's fun, I won't, because you know exactly what that is at this point. That takes us through into chorus number 2, which, you guessed it, is exactly the same thing again as we've just learned for the chorus, with your rhythm guitars left and right, and your octave lead over the top. So that now takes us into the bridge section. I've split it into 2 parts, so let's get into it. So for bridge section part 1, the left and the right guitar are sort of going to split off here. The right guitar is going to be doing some jabs in and out of the main sort of riff that the left guitar is going to be playing. So I'll play the left guitar for you first, and then we'll do the right one. This is the very Poison-esque riff that's going on right here. Okay, and yes, that is the higher riff. When the right guitar joins in for bridge part 2, that's going to be playing a sort of a lower harmony, a little bit like with the main riff. Okay. So what's going on? It's these dyad shapes, funnily enough, from the verse section. So you've got your 10 and your 9 on the 3rd and 4th string, okay, and then your 7 and 9 here on the same strings, okay. But you're gonna be just playing them as thirds, okay. The one thing you're going to want to watch out for is a little bit of gallops, and there's quite a bit of down picking in there as well, okay? So just watch out for the palm mutes that are happening in between. So you've got... Okay, so that's your first part. Then you've got your tail, which is a very similar sort of thing that was happening in the main riff earlier. Just bar your first finger across 7, 3rd finger comes onto a 9, 3rd string, and then your first finger to 7, 3rd string, so... Okay, so that's your tail. And you repeat that twice, okay? So you've got... Okay, so that is your guitar that's over on the left. You just play that same thing through twice. For the guitar that's on the right, you're going to be doing these stabs, and then you're going to be doing the lower harmony sort of tail to that main riff. Okay, so I'll show you what's happening. So you've got... Okay, very, very simple. So you're going to be doing your 2 A chords. Wait. Okay, and really stop them dead in the middle there. Don't let them ring out, okay? And then, pretty much the same notes that you've been doing in the main riff, okay, just in a different order. You've got your first finger, 5th string, 8th fret, and then you've got on the 4th string, you've got 3rd finger for 10, middle finger for 9, okay? Like that. So you... And that's it. Very, very simple. You just repeat the same thing twice. So that is your bridge section part 1. Bridge section number 2 is pretty much the same thing, okay? Apart from the fact that the right guitar is going to join in with the riff now. Just play the lower, the counterpoint or harmony if you like. This time there's a little bit more gallops that are going on in the pedaling, okay? So you're just going to watch out for that. So I'll play the left guitar for you first. It's doing exactly the same notes, just the rhythms just a little bit more choppier, okay? So check it out. Okay, so rather than just like straight down picks and one gallop, there's a hell of a lot more galloping, but you'll see that the notes are exactly the same as what we were doing over in bridge part 1. Okay, so nothing too difficult. I'll play it again for you. So that's your guitar on the left. You just play the same riff through twice, okay? The right guitar does the lower version of it, okay? And the notes are going to be, you're going to have 12 and 10, but it's going to be in the order of 10, 12. So 4th string, 5th string, okay? And then you're going to follow suit. And you're going to have 9, 10. Okay, so 4th string, 5th string. Okay, and it's exactly the same rhythm. Okay, and the tail part, you do exactly what you were doing between the jabs for bridge section part 1. Okay, so that was sort of alluding to what was going to be coming later on. So here is the right guitar in its entirety for this section. And that's it. Like I said, if you want to go and see the whole thing played up to speed, just go check my cover out. But there's the sections right there for you. So that is bridge section part 2. So now what we're going to move on into is the guitar solo rhythm section. This is going to be the solo number 1 rhythm, because you've kind of got the main sort of pagey, shreddy solo. And the section after that I'm sort of classing as solo number 2. Okay, that's when the sort of Thin Lizzy, Iron Maiden-esque sort of dual guitar thing comes in, the more melodic sort of solo. So we'll do the rhythm sections first, obviously, and this is solo number 1's rhythm, okay? And it's just gonna be exactly what you played for the verse section, just with gallops. Okay, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's the same chords. Very straightforward, very simple right there. So it's exactly the same chords, like I said, as the verse section, okay? So just follow my picking pattern. Okay, so it's a down, 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 up, down, 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 down sort of pattern. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so you play that through twice, and that'll get you through the entirety of the solo number 1 rhythm section. So I'll play the whole thing in its entirety one more time for you. Very, very simple. Just watch my pick in hand, copy the pattern, and yeah, it's very straightforward. Let's go. And that's it. You'll see, hopefully, that I'm keeping my movement really small in order to get that tight sort of gallop, okay, or that tight sort of rhythm section. So Try not to over exaggerate your, your down up downs and stuff like that. Look how small I'm keeping it. I guarantee if I put any more into that, I'm going to start hitting strings that I don't want to hit. I'm going to lose accuracy. My grip on the pick start to go to waste there. Just keep it light. So there is your guitar solo number 1 rhythm. Okay, moving over into guitar solo number 2. The rhythm section right here is exactly the same chords that we've just done. It's just going to be chord hangs instead. I'll play it through for you. It's very self-explanatory. Just one strum on each, and it's played twice. So here we go. Very, very simple, I've got nothing else to say about that one. Let's move on into the next section, because that speaks for itself. So the next section is chorus number 3. Good news is it's exactly the same as the other choruses. We're just going to play it twice. Okay. So, everything that you've done, the rhythm guitars and the octave guitar, do exactly what you did twice through. So for the sake of being thorough, I'll play the rhythm guitars through for you just so you can see what it's like, and then you can piece it together from there. So we've got a... And that's it. No explanation needed there. It's just the same thing twice. Okay, so that is your last chorus number 3. I think it's cool how they kind of kept this one simple. There's not really a lot of complicated parts. It's very meat and potatoes, and I think it just makes for a nice sort of like concise, straightforward song with no sort of like, no fat on it. It's very sort of like trimmed down. Take a song like Hardwired to Self-Destruct by Metallica. There's no like fat on that song. It's just like in, out. Do you know what I mean? And this song is a lot like that. There's no unnecessary adage to it. The guitar parts are all fairly simple, okay? And it's not stretched out and overly long or anything like that. And an abundance of layering and silly little guitar parts just for the sake of. So that's why this one's quite a nice one to play, actually, because once you learn the parts, it's very straightforward. So for the outro section now, left and right guitars are going to be doing exactly the same thing as they were doing in intro part 2, if you like, and then you're going to end with 2 power chords at the end, and that's it. That's the song done, okay? So again, for the sake of being thorough, I'll play the left guitar for you just so you know what it is and what I'm referring to, but it is intro part 2. So here we go. So there it is. So that's all your rhythm guitar for Dignity. Okay, so the next thing we'll do now is we'll move on into the guitar solos. Okay, so moving on into guitar solo 1, this is Padge. The only thing I will say about this one is it's really tightly put together in the take. So jumping around sections, that's the only thing you've got to look out for, is getting from section to section, because it is quite quick. So I've split it into 4 sections. It's very straightforward. So section number 1. So it starts off with this A minor sweep sort of run. Okay, so you've got... Okay, so that is pinky on 12, first finger to 8 on the first string. And you're going to pick and pull off. And then your middle finger is going to do 10 second string. And your first finger is going to do 9 on the third string, okay? And then bring it back up. Middle finger back, and then your first finger back. So you've got... Okay? And the thing about it is, it's not one of those stupidly fast, all that remains, style, like very sort of fast sweep pattern, I guess you could say. The notes are very spaced out, actually, as quick as it might seem to be. The notes are very you can hear each individual note as opposed to just this blur of fast notes that's coming at you. So if you want to lead in with an up, that's all good. You want to lead with a down, you can do it. Just find what's right for you, okay? Once you've done that twice, the pattern stays the same, but you're going to move your pinky onto 13th fret, okay? So instead of pulling from 12, you're going to pull from 13. So you're going to have... Okay? So all together. Okay? There you go, something like that, okay? So that's your first section. Okay? Then you got this pentatonic run. So that right there, you're going to start with your third finger on 12th fret on first string, and you're going to pull to 10, okay? And it's very Gary Moore, Kirk Hammett kind of pattern going on right here, nothing too difficult, okay? And it's triplets, okay? So you're going to go triplet, 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 okay? So you're going to do your 12 pull to 10 on the first string, and then you're going to do your pinky on a 13th fret second string, then back with your first finger to 10, so you've got, okay? And then you're going to do 13 pull to 10th fret second string, okay? So you've got, okay? And then you start bringing that down. Okay, so the picking pattern and the pull-offs and stuff, it stays the same. The only thing you've got to watch out with this one is it's an out of sort of like first position pentatonic run. So the pattern sort of changes as you go down, okay? So you've got 12 to 10. The next one, 13 to 10. And then you're going to repeat 13 to 10. Third finger to 12th fret on the next string, third string. And you're going to have to bring your first finger down into 9, third string, okay? So it's... Okay? So all together so far. Okay? Then... Very simple. You're going to do 12, pull to 9 on the third string. Pinky to 10 on the fourth string. Back to 9 with your first finger. And then I pull from my pinky to my middle finger on 10. Then pinky lands on 12th fret, 5th string, okay? So I'm going to play it through a few times for you and just see if you can get it from following my shapes and patterns and my rhythm, okay? So... So if we put section 1 together now, you get something like this. Okay, one more time. Okay, so that's section 1. Next part, we've just got this nice melodic single note section, okay? Goes something like this. Okay, feel free to get as slidey as you like with that. What I will say is how I've done this is the last note on 12th fret, 5th string in section 1 is the first note of section 2. So it is the same note. It was just easier for me to split the two sections up rather than having it be too long. So when you come out of your pentatonic run, it sort of leads into it, okay? So I'm going to start from that point, okay? So you've got 12. Then your first finger coming onto the next string, you've got 9. 10, up to 12. Back to 9, 10. Then you're going to pick 7. Down to 5. Down to 2. And then back to 5 all on the same string. Very simple, okay? So okay, very, very straightforward right there. So that is your section number 2. So moving into section 3 right here, you've got this sort of Zakk Wylde A minor blues type lick. It goes like this. Okay, so that is just your traditional pentatonic box position. Okay, these strings on this guitar are a little bit heavy for this tuning, in fact. So if some of my bends are a little bit sort of like out of key, I do apologize, but these strings are like bending piano wire. This is usually my drop B guitar, but here we go. So here's the lick. You're going to do a big bend on the 7th fret, 3rd string. You're going to pick 5th fret, 1st string with your first finger. And then you're going to do 8, 5, okay, on the 2nd string. So you've got very cliche lick this, okay? So you've got, then after that, you're going to go big bend on 2nd string, 8th fret, whole step bend. Okay, up to the pitch of 10. Okay, so you've got then the same lick again with your first finger for 5, and then pinky 8, 2nd string, first finger 5, 2nd string. So, and that's going to happen in the middle of each one of your bends. Okay, so you've got then again. That next bend happens on 1st string, 7th fret. And then again. Okay, and then the next bend there is on 8th fret, okay? Whole step, okay? So you've got whole step bend, another whole step bend, half step bend, whole step bend, and then one more to finish it off of the little lick that happens in between of 5, 8, 5, okay? So 1st string, 2nd string, 2nd string. Okay, so all together. Okay? And again. Okay, and then the next part leads into this little melodic section. Very simple. Okay, the important thing there is when I broke it down and I listened to the guitar solo sort of isolated in that app that I use, it sounds like a bend, that first note. And then he lets it down, okay, rather than going up to 12. So it's 10th fret, whole step bend to the pitch of 12, let it down, pick 10 again, all on the 1st string, and then pick 8. So you've got, then we've got this climb. Okay, so it's just 5, 7, 8, And then I'm sliding into the next note before I actually pick it. So I'm going. Okay, so it's slide, pick, for 8, slide, pick, 12, slide, pick, 15, okay? Okay, so that is your section 3, starting off with the bluesy A minor lick, moving over into the melodic notes right there. So section 3 in its entirety. Okay, so that is section number 3. The last section now is section number 4, which is your A minor sweep again. It goes back to exactly the same pattern. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing that we led in with. You're going to do the A minor from twice through from 12th fret. Exactly the same thing. Then move your pinky up onto 13th fret. Exactly the same thing again, times 2. And then just end with a big bend on a 15th fret, first string. Okay? So very simple section 4. You just repeat in the first part of it. So you've got. And that's it, that's your guitar solo. So I'll play it through section into section, nice and slow for you now. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, one more time, slower. And there's your guitar solo, solo number 1. So moving on over into guitar solo number 2 now. This is where like Matt and Padge would like join in together for this sort of like Thin Lizzy, Iron Maiden kind of dual guitar harmony part. It's the much slower section that comes after Padge's faster solo. That it happens over the chord hangs that we did in the rhythm section. I'll do the higher guitar for you first, and then I'll show you what the lower guitar's doing. And yeah, that'll be it. That'll be the lesson video. So here's the higher one. Okay, very, very simple right there, all along one string, okay? So you're going to start off 5, 7, 9. Okay? You play it through twice. Up to 12. I slide up to 12, down into 10, down into 9, okay, and then finishing on 10. Okay? And then Similar sort of thing by going up to 12. You're going to go down to 10, down to 9, but this time you're going to finish on a 7th fret, and you're going to give it that sort of whole step bend, and then slowly let it up. So one quick bend, and then let it up again. So the back end of that, it's very, very simple stuff here. Just watch my pick and watch where my fingers go. Okay? And you play that whole thing through twice. So I'll do that for you now. Okay, and that is your higher harmony guitar if you like. The lower one, it's going to be doing exactly the same patterns, the same sort of picking patterns. It's just going to be different notes. So I'll show you exactly what that is now. Okay, so it's that times 2. So this time I'm starting on the 7th fret, 4th string, okay? And I'm going 9, 10. Okay? You do that times 2. Then, so that is on 3rd string now, okay? And you're gonna go 9, 7, 5. And then back to 7, okay? So you've got... And then... You're going to finish on that 4th fret right there, okay? Watch that second time, he's sliding up into that 9. Okay, and be sure to, you know, shake the hell out of the notes, do what you want to them, you know, just to get it expressive, you know. So that section all together. And what I'm doing there on the 4th fret is I'm doing exactly the same thing that I was doing on the 7 earlier. So it's a very fast whole step bend, let it down, and then let it back up slowly. So okay, so it's like 2 bends, but the first one is quicker. And there you go. That is Dignity in its entirety, all guitar parts, I believe. I'm sure there's probably something else buried in there that I've missed, but there's like the sort of the main crucial guitar parts that will get you through that song. So if you're jamming with a friend, now hopefully you could both like pick a guitar part and get that sort of dual harmony guitar part, sort of metalcore thing going on, you know. Or if you're doing a cover of it, now you know where each guitar sits, lows and highs and stuff like that. Okay, so the last couple of things before I go. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. Please do remember to hit that like button because it helps me out a hell of a lot. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy this sort of thing and my covers and stuff like that. Just yeah, and you want to see more, just hit the subscribe button, and yeah, there's plenty more content coming as always. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can follow the link down below and head over to my Patreon page, get involved with the channel a little bit more. The link is down there for you. And also my band, A Lost Cause, we've just put out our recent single. The song's called The Author. It's got a guest vocalist on it as well. There's a link down below that will take you over to the official music video, and like the Apple and Spotify links and stuff like that for you guys. So if you want to go and check out our song, all the links are there for you. But yeah, thank you so much for you guys' continued support. Big welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the content. Let me know what you want to see next down in the comments below. And yeah, I guess that's the video. So until next time, guys, stay well, stay healthy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.